Real quick, before we get into the video today, I just want to let you know I do spend a little bit of time talking about Ragnar Goldgleam as a potential stun target. He's actually not going to work for this build. I didn't know that when I was doing this. I was just theorizing. Afterwards, I was able to figure that that does not work, so I just want to let you guys know that's not going to be something you're going to want to go for. I do have a video coming out tomorrow, though, showing how Ragnar can be used in the budget Unkillable, and I think you're actually going to be really excited to see that. I also have a game on link down below. I'm going to be doing a new series kind of talking about little snippets of information about the clan boss that maybe you already know if you're a veteran player, but maybe not. These are some of this is information that I didn't even know for a long time after I started playing. So I'm going to have those down below so you can check that out. And yeah, let's get to the video. Welcome, I'm the Deadwood Jedi, and this is another Raid Shadow Legends video. We are doing a takeover today. We are in the account of Murazora, or Murazor, I don't know, it's something like that. It's kind of a cool name, honestly, I like it. Murazora is one of my Patreons, and he came to me asking for clan boss help, and basically to remake his clan boss team so he could do more damage. And if you guys want to become a Patreon, get that kind of work or coaching, which I really do recommend a lot, you can join one of these fine folks here and become a Patreon. There's links in the description and the comment of this video if you'd like to check that out. What I want to do real quick is tell you about this account, because he was doing only about 3 keys on Nightmare, 2 keys on Brutal, doing like 16 to 19 million damage on Nightmare before we got into this account. And one of the great things is that we were able to use some of the new skill prioritizations to build an unkillable team using Sir Nicholas. Now, there are a bunch of ways to build unkillable with Sir Nicholas, with Tower, with Warcaster. It's not really super difficult. The hard part becomes dealing with the debuffs and dealing with the stun targeting. But if you can navigate those issues, and we are going to be able to do that by using Underpriest Brogni, there's a bunch of different ways you can go about building this. The reason why is those skills, they all have their unkillable abilities on 4-turn cooldowns. 4-turn cooldowns is a pretty common thing, right? We have lots of champions that we use on 4-3 ratios in this game. So being able to build an unkillable team around those 4-3 ratios isn't super hard. There's a bunch of 4-3 ratio teams out there. So there are some builds already on the website that show this, and this is not going to be one of them. I don't feel like I actually need to put this specific build on the website. The reason why is you can really go to town and mix and match and find different teams that work for you, your account, and your champions. There's not like there's a whole bunch of varieties you need to do, but the basic concept comes to the same. Can you target the stun on the right champion? And can you cleanse or block any debuffs that are going to come through? If you can do that, you're going to be fine. Now, what I recommend if you're going to try and build a Sir Nick unkillable team or a Tower unkillable team is use some of the builds that are already there. There's a bunch of Tower unkillable teams. They either involve a Skull Crusher or a Warcaster. Go ahead and use those templates and just use that as the basis for the team that you want to use. And then you can just substitute the champions you need in and make adjustments as needed. That's what I did. I started with one of the Tower Warcaster team and kind of adjusted from there. And so we have the team that we do today. And it's, I think, pretty impressive considering. So let's go ahead and take a quick look at the champions, and then we'll do the run real quick. So these are the champions we're going to bring in. Obviously, Sir Nicholas is prime candidate. He kind of makes his team work for us. And Sir Nicholas obviously has some interesting things. Now, the reason why you have to use skill prioritization is really important is because he's going to, naturally, his AI will prioritize the shield. That's not what we want. We want him prioritizing the unkillable buff, those the continuous heals. That's what we want. So that's how we have to kind of make it work in the clan in the game. Now, his speed, we have him here at 241 speed. And basically for this build, anywhere between 239 and 244, I believe, is going to work for both Nightmare and Ultra Nightmare to make this work. We obviously have a lot of HP because he's an HP-based champ. 100% crit rate, okay crit damage. We're just trying to get as much as we can. And masteries, you see here, we're going down to War Master, and we're coming down here taking, let's see if I can get this right, Retribution, so we can get some free counterattacks in. So you'll see in the second half of the fight, when we start really losing HP, our damage is going to start to go up because we start getting those Retribution procs. Other than that, we have Life Drinker on pretty much everybody so they can heal up as much as possible, so they can get those Retribution procs going, and it should work just fine. We also have Tower in here. Because we had both of them, it worked out really well. Same kind of masteries on him, and similar type of build. Our priority with these two is just getting the speed up. Now, he needs to be 225. Anything between, I think, 225 and 238 or so. There's a lot of range in there to make this work. And we have its crit rate almost to 100%. Couldn't quite get there. It's okay. And actually, we would be there if we rolled this up all the way, but we're a little low on silver, so didn't get that done. I think I'll go ahead and do that before we finish this, before we actually do the run, so just know I'll get that crit rate up to 100%. The other champions we're bringing in is going to be Underpriest Brogni. Underpriest, of course, is crucial for this build, mainly because he's going to block all the debuffs. Not to mention, the best part about Underpriest, as you can see, he is the slowest in this team at 172 there. The other part that's really crucial about Brogni is the Retribution proc, so his passive ability here, where he inflicts the damage when allies are under shields. Doesn't have to be his shield. It'll work with Sir Nick's shield as well. I can't make it work in this so that we have the shield up the full fight, but we get it up enough so that we're getting a lot of extra damage out of that. And so he becomes really, really helpful for the team. He also gives us that increased attack buff, which really shouldn't be underestimated as far as upping the damage of your team. The other champion that we're going to be bringing in is Aethar. Aethar is one of my favorites for unkillable teams. As an epic champion. Part of the reason is, obviously, he puts up 4 poisons. That's really good. It's also a 4-hit attack, and his A1 is a 2-hit attack. Between the two of them, we're going to put him in Giant Slayer. As you can see, we have him in Giant Slayer right here, and Giant Slayer is going to give us just a lot more damage over time by getting so many extra hits in. Again, Retribution, Life Drinker, we have all the same kind of things going on there. And so you can see here, we've got him going just a little bit faster, 173. I think 177 is the max speed any of these champions can have. We try to build up his attack as much as we can, crit rate, crit damage. Obviously, not everything is rolled up. We didn't have the silver for that. I don't want to commit silver to things that aren't going to make, they're going to make a difference in our damage, but not a difference in building it. So that's something that can do on his own time, basically, and get to that point. As he gets more silver, you can build that stuff up and replace pieces with better gear as well. We got Fane is going to be our last champion. Obviously, like I said, not everything is rolled up, but we have her at 175 speed. Still pretty good attack, even without everything rolled up. Crit damage, crit rate, and accuracy are all where we want to be. And again, same kind of masteries with the War Master. This is our damage. So Fane's going to give us decreased defense and weaken. We're going to get poisons from Fane, we're going to get poisons from Aethar, and Brogni's going to keep us affinity friendly. Okay, one little detail I want to show you guys is how we set this up. This is actually a full auto team here on Ultra Nightmare, which is pretty crazy, I think. But we want to start with Aethar's ability. We are actually not going to use the brand abilities, A3. We made this not available. And that's going to make sure that we get as many hits as possible and makes Giant Slayer a more viable option than War Master for him. That's really important. We're going to actually start, like I said, it's full auto, so we can start with his block debuff skill for Brogni as well. That's going to be really good. And with Sir Nicholas, we're going to start with his, we have to prioritize his Unkillable ability. That's number 1 priority. And then 2, we are going to make that the first skill that he uses, and that'll help us stay on auto. With Tower, we built him in an attack mode, so we're actually going to disable his A2 ability, so he only uses A1, which is an attack-based skill, and that should up our damage. Also, we do need to have him with a 1-turn delay on his block damage ability, so we're going to make the opening ability his A1, and because of all that, what's going to happen is when we jump in here, all we have to do, I actually click start on auto because we can just have it run on auto here, which is pretty remarkable, I think. And we're going to stay unkillable as a result. Now, one of the interesting things with this, obviously, is we're going to get all that healing from Sir Nicholas, the continuous heals. That can help or hinder our stun targeting. Depending when the skills are being used, that continuous heal can enable us to make one of these champions not have any HP. So this is where I would use Ragnar, right? I would use Ragnar instead of Fane, not put any Life Drinker on him, and allow the continuous heal to be enough to heal him up so the stun will go to him. Now, with affinity, it shouldn't be an issue. The only issue that we might run into, and I did let her know this, is Fane's A3 ability. It heals her. So if that heals her too much, it comes at the wrong time, the stun might actually go to Sir Nick, which would be a very bad thing for us. But in an Ultra Nightmare, it's not much of an issue. On Nightmare, it's more of an issue. But on Ultra Nightmare, one of the great things is we have both Tower and Sir Nicholas taking double turns at the exact same time. They're both taking it right after the stun. And so what happens is because Sir Nick has a 2-turn unkillable, goes last, that keeps us unkillable for both AoEs. And then Tower, it's a 2-turn block damage. Even though he goes first, it doesn't matter. We only need to block the damage for the stun hit. And because of that, because Brogni goes last between the AoEs, you'll see right here, he's going to go last and places the block debuffs right there. We stay unkillable and we block the debuffs for both the AoEs, for both the affinity, as well as the stun. And that keeps us unkillable, makes this team work like clockwork, which is just fabulous for us. Now, obviously, Athar's weak affinity in this. Fane doesn't put up a ton of poison, so our debuff bar is not exactly full throughout this fight. There is definitely ways we can make this better. That's one of the reasons why I suggest Ragnar as a possible Fane alternative. Now, I haven't even played with him yet, so I don't know that he's going to be better than Fane, but there's a strong argument to say that he might be. So that's definitely something we'd want to keep in mind going forward. He does have a leech debuff, so that can throw off the stun targeting and would be something we'd want to take into account. But if considering that he might have that, Sir Nick would have that, I have a pretty good feeling that it would benefit us and Ragnar would take the stun instead of Sir Nicholas. So it seems like that would be a positive route to go, certainly a different way to go. We can also swap the speeds of Tower and Sir Nicholas. So we could block the damage for those AoE hits and then have Sir Nicholas be just make us unkillable for the stun. And that would help a lot with the stun targeting. In that case, the stun targeting shouldn't be an issue at all. The only reason why I didn't do that is I really like getting these retribution procs right here, these free counterattacks half the time. And so in that sense, I feel like the damage potential of Sir Nicholas is going to be a little bit higher than we would have with Tower. But those are choices. Those are definitely options you can make as, you know, when you're building your team, which way you'd like to go about it. And, you know, it's hard to say that one for sure is going to be better than the other. That was just my reasoning behind it, but it's not like I've done comparative tests to really know. And now you can see everybody's really low on health. We're still going unkillable. This is so great with these AI changes. We can use Sir Nick. And we're going to continue doing the damage that we were doing before. And we're going to do pretty good here. I mean, consider this was a 3-key Nightmare account. Now we're competing on Ultra Nightmare. And if this keeps up, this could be pretty close to a 2-key Ultra Nightmare, even against Affinity, which is pretty bonkers. So I'll get myself off the screen, let you guys watch. Enjoy the music if you like it. We got that Soundstripe link down below, so you can enjoy this too. But yeah, otherwise, enjoy. That's so close to a 2-key. Oh man, I just want to level up all the rest of the gear to get us to that level. But I mean, just a little bit of gear improvement, and even this team here is going to be at a 2-key level. So there's definitely room to improve things in this. I mean, definitely. Look, you can see Athar did the most damage. Almost 10 million. Athar is really good, guys. Plus, he has a really nice aura that works for this. So, I mean, this is how we're going to be doing this, right? When you have Sir Nick, when you have Roshkar the Tower, unkillable teams are very, very, very viable and pretty easy to do. Way easier to do now than they used to be. The skill prioritization makes it so much simpler than it ever used to be in the past. So I cannot stress it enough. if you have the opportunity, definitely break your Sir Nicks out. You're going to see a lot more teams involving him. I mean, pretty simple team, pretty easy to build, quite frankly. You just want to get your two champions at a 4-3 ratio is really all you're looking to do there. And if you obviously you can use other champions too. There's a lot more that are viable now because of the skill prioritization. So there's going to be a lot more builds that are going to be involving these unkillable style teams. Now Sir Nick is a little bit difficult because of the continuous heals he has. It can be a little tricky making sure everything's timed and getting, more importantly, not timed, but so much focus on who's going to take the stun. And that can always be the tricky part. Even with this build, that is something I would want to keep an eye out on and make sure the stun's still going to the right champions and could potentially cause issues in the future. A champion like Brogni, of course, makes that a very easy solution. So anybody that's got that 2-turn block debuff is super, super helpful. This is a great team. I think this is going to be very effective for him going forward. So I know he's happy with it. I mean, we just went from 3-key Nightmare to 2-key Ultra Nightmare, basically. On Void, I'm pretty sure this would be 2-key. So, and you don't have to use these champions specifically. Like, there's lots of substitutes for Poisoners instead of Aethar. I just really like him because he does raw damage, has a great aura, and still puts up poisons. Don't necessarily have to use Feign. There's obviously a bunch of substitutions out there. You could use Rosin, you could use Ragnar, you can use a bunch of different champions. But the key is just, getting those timing right. So when you guys are trying to build yours, understand, you just need to have them on the right cooldowns and time it out. Use the builds that we already have on the website as a template and then adjust it to suit your needs, right? I was going to do the Tower Warcaster type of build, but I was like, I think we can slow this down some. I don't think we have to go as fast as we have in that particular build. And because of that, it is easier for me to gear up these champions to do as much damage as possible. So, you can use that same kind of philosophy and adjust the teams on your own as well. Hopefully this was helpful for you guys. If it was, please hit that like and subscribe. It does make a big difference. I do appreciate that. Go ahead and leave a comment down below on, how you like these teams. What do you think about using Sir Nick in these unkillable teams? Is it the kind of way you want to go? And actually, I'd be interested to hear what you guys think. Should I have made tower block damage on those AoEs, or should I have made Sir Nicholas do that? I like the Retribution procs, but maybe having full HP would be a better way to go. I don't know. It would definitely make the stun targeting a lot easier, and that by itself might have made it more viable. So I'm interested to hear what you guys think about that. That's all we got for today. Hopefully this was fun, and yeah, till next we meet, I'm the Deadwood Jedi.